Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Jersey and today we are going to be working on part 3 of the museum build. So big changes. So originally part 3 was going to be we were supposed to start decorating benches, the layouts, how we're going to be filling up this area. Well, the more I was walking around the area, it was too small for me. I needed to feel bigger. I wanted the entrance of the museum not to be just two rows, two square. It just felt very close, and I debated, and I kept debating and I was like, man, it's gonna take a lot of work. And I had some ideas of what I wanted to do, but I was like, this is gonna be a lot of work if I'm really gonna put this, and what if I don't like it? I may not like it at all. But I was like, okay, I knew I didn't want to take the riverbank out. I kind of wanted to leave that. So the idea that came into my head is, okay, so we got the entrance of the museum, the stairs are gonna go down, and they're gonna go down to the riverbank, and it's gonna be like a little platform there at the end, and you're gonna see the water. Where we started the video, from that bridge we're gonna be able to see the museum. So another part that I didn't like as much anymore, it was when I was standing back there and I see the river, and you're looking up, you see the bridge, and the bridge is blocking the museum, and I want that to be a view. I don't want the bridge that I put up to be blocking it. So that was one of the first things that started this. I was like, oh man, this is not, it's not come from far away, it's not looking good. From close it's looking okay, but when I'm walking around it, I just feel cramped. I just feel like I can't walk. So I was like, okay. So I look at my reference pictures that I have of my different museums that I've been getting inspiration from, and one of them had a long stairway coming down, and the museum is gonna be a little wider. Of course, the museum building itself is not wide. You know, you can't go any wider, so we're gonna create the illusion that is wider and that we got these platforms. So we're also gonna be working on that. So we're not just making the stairs longer and that's it. We're also going to be working on the left and on the right side of the museum, of the walls, and the platform where the fountains are. We're going to be making them wider. And yeah, so I started thinking in my head, okay, how are we going to approach this? So the first thing I was like, okay, we're going to start with the stairs. I think the steps are the most important part, because I need to know how far are we going to go. And I decided, okay, you're gonna be seeing me digging, and then I'm gonna be adding a lot of dirt, because a lot of ideas came across my mind, but a lot of them were once I got to a certain point, those ideas were not working. So then I started having a different approach. Also, the back wall of the museum is, I didn't realize it at first, but it's actually blocking just a tiny bit of the end of the actual building. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that wall down from the back, and we're gonna go one square in the back. So that's something also we're gonna be working on. So right here, I think I pretty much have part of my alignment, and what I decided is to align kind of the end of the stairs to where the bridge on the side coming in from the town center. When you go up the town center, it's gonna connect to here, and it's gonna bring you here. So at first I was thinking, okay, so I'm going to make, I was thinking I was gonna make the other platforms of where the fountains, like, I'm probably gonna work on one more lower and just keep that tier going. And definitely I took that out of the equation. I wasn't feeling it very kind of soon. I decided not to go with it. So even though I did all this work, we ended up filling most of this dirt up. And what we decided to do, or what I decided to do, is have like a steps coming from the side going down, and that I really like. So once we get there, we're gonna start seeing that. But yeah, so still right here, I keep working on going down the stairs and trying to decide how far do I want it to go. And as you can see on the side, when the camera, sometimes you see the bridge, I kind of align it to the bridge that I have, and that's where I got my ending point in the beginning. And then I think I stretched out just the platform just a little bit more, but I wanted to still leave a little bit of the water, that way we can see the fish or anything that spawns there naturally. And you know, it could be a spot for fishing. I may put a fence there at the end. I haven't decided. That there are a couple of things by the end of this video that we are still gonna be trying to do, because by the end I haven't decided 100% exactly where things are gonna to go. But yeah, as you saw a little bit previously, I was just checking how is this looking from far away, looking at how it looks from in different angle. Does it look too long, too short? And those are the things that I'm thinking, and checking to see which way do I want to keep approaching this. So this build really became an upgrade build. We're just making it grander. It was very unexpected even for myself, but the more I was working with it, the more I felt like it needed to be. So here we are once again. We are now we're gonna be using a lot more cement, kind of keep more of the build uniform right now. So we're gonna be using a lot of our cement tiles. Here I'm measuring where I gotta put my steps, the stair steps, and we're just filling it up. And still in this point of the video, I'm still trying to decide what I'm gonna do with the idea originally that I had to keep bringing the fountains down, and that's why we got that hole on the side. And I'm very thankful that I was working on one side and not working on both sides. So like I mentioned earlier before, we are definitely gonna be expanding also the museum, making it a little more wide. I did manage to make 2 flags of one of the new items, and it's something that I am gonna keep by the end of the build. And right now I was kind of placing them where do I want them, and then that's when I realized, okay, if I put the flags here, then I really wanna then kind of separate the fountains more to the side. So now we are going to be taking all the trees that I planted on the last one, because those trees were to trying to hide the gap in between the building, the wall and the building. And as you can see right there, you see how the walls kind of covering the window. I don't know why in the previous videos I didn't notice that, but once I noticed that, it really started to bother me. It's like, hey, I don't see the full building. So basically what I decided to do is take the trees that I had on the back. We are going to break down this wall. We are gonna make a whole wall 1 more square back behind the building. I still want the back of the museum, the white of the museum, to still show on the back. So we're not gonna plant any trees trying to hide that. And so we're gonna raise the wall, and we're gonna go 1 square behind the museum. So that way we don't have no gap. And I think this idea is actually much better than trying to put a pine tree right now and trying to cover that gap. So yeah, so we went 1 square behind the building, and now we went, I believe, 2 more square wide. So if you were duplicating this build in the small version, then we only went 2 square more wide on the sides. And basically we're keeping the same format of the fountain. We just need to rearrange it and restructure it. But if you were following the build and you like the smaller scale of the museum, you can still keep the small scale of the building. And if that gap of the museum between the wall and the museum it was bothering you like it did me, all you need to do is just take the wall and move it back one and one inside behind the museum, and you can keep the same build small. So this one I went big because like I stated previously, it wasn't flowing with me anymore. I wanted more space. I wanted not to feel too tight. I want to be able to walk more comfortably. I want when we walk into the area and to the platform. So because now this actually is becoming a big museum area. It's not just a little square. It's not just a little section of the map. This is gonna become a museum plaza, and we're gonna have benches, lamps, more flower, maybe a garden on the side. There's ideas that I have, especially when we come to the side. So on the right side where we at, when we come down in my island, of course, I got 2 bridges coming in, right? That's gonna lead you to here. And then on the left side that we haven't worked much, is still open, there is where I'm planning to make more museum like areas, and I am looking at more real life pictures of different museum of the outdoor sections and see what inspires me, and I want to see what hits, and I'm like, oh, we can do this in Dinkum, or we can do this. There's still a lot of items that we don't have in Dinkum that would take our builds to the next level, and I'm hoping slowly that will come. But we still gotta work with what we have. I am the type of design, when I'm making my designs, I go more to the real side of the build, and I like things to feel kind of realistic, and that makes sense, and that's me, and that's the freedom of Dinkum, right? Like for me, I want to go a little more realistic, and you can make it more wild. You can make it more like have this something extra, higher, and this and that, and then you make it your own. But for me, most of my builds are always gonna go more on the realistic side, and I do take inspiration from real life buildings, and when I'm researching, I'm like, okay, I like this, how can I put this in my build, and how can this fit, and can I make it work? And sometimes it hit or miss. Sometimes it may not really work, and sometimes it may really work. So right now what I'm trying to figure out here, it took me a little longer because adding the 2 extra square, and then I know I needed to, I decided that I wanted to make the gap between the fountain and the other fountain a little taller, and that took me a moment to do a little trial and error. It wasn't quick like the other side. The other side was kind of straightforward, and I kept getting confused because I'm like, man, I want this to go deeper and have more of a gap, so that way we see more stone. And of course that's because I'm looking at this picture and I'm trying to imitate something similar with the tools that we have. But slowly it did come out the way I wanted. I actually then made, like you see on the flag, I'm starting to make like this, like if it was a big cement block rail going down the stairs on the side, and I think that's gonna look really good. And it did look, and it looks really good all the way at the end of the video, and that started giving the build more definition. And I also gonna be doing that at the end of the edge of the build, and we keep duplicating that. And once I started doing that, it really started elevating this build for me. And I was like, oh man, this is taking shape better than what I had before. And that really made me happy, because believe me, I done builds that we spend a lot of time and I don't like it, and you know, you spend 2, 3, 4 hours in a specific thing, and then at the end you're like, oh, I don't like it, I just don't like it. And I'm in a point right now that as I'm making these builds right now is, if I don't like it, I don't want to keep it. If I'm not gonna be happy completely, then let me keep working at it. And now that I'm also uploading these videos for you guys, even though I already kind of make a little build and I could have kept it like that and kept going, for me, going wider, it gave me the opportunity to show a little more and be a little more creative, and for you guys to get hopefully more inspiration, because these details, extra details that we're adding, is because I started looking at more pictures and more ideas from different museums, and I'm like, oh, I like this. So okay, so right here I went cement, right? So you see it, all the edges and where the flags are, all that I did is cement. And for some reason I decided to change it and I went brick. And then today I was gathering resources and just on the side, and I was walking through this build, because I'm not recording, I'm just playing normally and getting things ready for the following video. And the brick, I don't know, it just, I wasn't feeling it. So off camera, of course, because I couldn't take it anymore, and I didn't want to take time on the next video to do the change, I revert back all that to cement, and both of the edges and the rail where the flags are, all that is cement now. I did tweak it a little bit. There's gonna be some other areas a little more elevated, and on the next video I will show that once I record that. So I'll probably do like a slower intro, doing a little walk of the things that I did off camera, so I can explain it, and then go back to speed build so we can go through the new stuff that we are working on. So basically what's happening right here right now is we are working on the left side and just duplicating what exactly we did already on the right side. We're gonna make it on the left side, and we're taking just this wall back again. We're gonna be putting it on the back, so we're just doing exactly the same. And overall, the build started really taking shape. I started to become more happy, and I just kept working at it. Again, I didn't mention that I was gonna try to make shorter videos, that way they're not half-hour long, and I really got into the build. I just got into it. I was on a roll, and the only reason I stopped making this one is because I started getting sleepy, because I started doing this video recording late at night. At first I was like, oh, I'll probably just do a little bit of the idea that I have and just work on the stairs, and the stairs led to the side of the museum. From the side to the museum is gonna lead to the other stairs that connect the stairs going up to the museum. And I just kept going, and if it wasn't because my eyes started getting sleepy, I could keep it open anymore, I probably would have kept playing who knows, an hour more. And the reason is I had the ideas that I wanted to continue to work on this video and on the build. Like, I was on fire. I just got tired and I was like, man, I need to go to bed. So I stopped the video, and I was like, you know what, we're just gonna leave the new stuff to part 4, because the idea, and once we get a little in the front of the area, the ideas are gonna come. We're gonna do a little entrance from one of the staircases that is coming up from the very front. So we're gonna make a little entryway coming in. So as you're climbing up, we're gonna hit flat, and the bridge that was blocking the view is gonna go all the way down, connecting and going to the other side. And then of course anything that we're gonna do on that right side in the front, we are gonna duplicate it on the left side, because the left side has another entrance that we are gonna be working on. So yeah, so the museum, it was supposed to be the mining area. It went to the museum, and then the museum went to a little bit elaborate, and now we're going full-blown museum area with a big entryway. We're gonna have lights, we're gonna have section. We're gonna put the statues. It's gonna become like a real place, and in my mind at least. And I am researching with more pictures, more ideas, taking inspiration from real life places, and that's truly helping so much. Because like I said before, Dinkum is just gonna get better and better. I know James did that census. Hopefully we're gonna be adding more items, more ways, hopefully more path, more colors, more items to decorate, and maybe we can make walls with the item, or he give us an ability to actually make walls, a different type of walls, maybe make doors. Who knows what he'll add. But right now we still have freedom, and I've seen so many other YouTubers making amazing builds and amazing things that I maybe one day will build that into these islands. You know, there's so many ideas floating out there that sound amazing, and I do want to get to that point. But right now we're working on our main specific buildings that are provided for us, and making areas for those for the NPCs, so they feel like they got their own place. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So right now we're at the museum, and from the museum it will lead us to another section of the island, and I am excited. I'm looking forward to all those new builds and videos that we're gonna be making. So right here we're checking one more time how everything's looking, and it's looking good. It's just it's fitting so well into the idea that I really wanted. So here's when I decide, you know what, I'm gonna test the brick, and maybe because I was tired, but I thought it looked good. But 2 days later, as I'm working, getting materials to get the next stuff that I need ready, I wasn't feeling it anymore, so I did change. So if you're watching this video and you like what you see, and you like the brick with the cement, go ahead and do it. You know, like I always say, these are just videos to inspire you, to give you an idea, to take this layout and copy it completely, or make it your own, add other things that I haven't thought of, and you guys make it happen. You know, I do have a Twitter account now. I am gonna be working on an Instagram as well, and hopefully other social media. So because I wanna, whenever you guys, if you guys wanna share what you guys creations, and so we can see it, I wanna see them. I wanna see what you guys are building. So now we are gonna be adding lights, and also I did make more garden little lamps, and those are gonna be spread also throughout the build, especially on the platform where the fountains are at. There we are gonna be putting more lights, and that most likely is gonna be on the next video. If everything, if nothing crazy comes out of my head that I want to change out of nowhere. So yeah, so that will be hopefully part 4. We start hopefully laying out more of the layout. So there in that section on the front where we added that bridge, every time I look to the front, I didn't like it. So that bridge is gonna go, we're gonna lower that. So we're gonna make it, and it's hard to explain that off camera, but all that front is gonna be like a whole medium tier we're gonna create. Normally I work in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, but this museum area I wanted to feel that has a little more movement, more depth, more layers, more level, but that makes sense, not just random out of nowhere. And that's why I say I want to create 2 entrances, one coming from the left, coming in from the stairs and up, and then and it's kind of doing a little like these stairs that we're working right here. It's kind of creating something like that, but in the front. And what that will make, if I'm thinking it correctly in my head, it's gonna make that bridge is gonna go down. So when we stand in the other bridge way over there, where we first started the video, we can see the museum. And of course, at the end, I could actually not add the bridge at all and just have the river, and that's it. I kind of want to incorporate the bridge because, you know, it's cool to be able to cross things quicker. And if it feels right, we keep the bridge. If it doesn't feel right, we won't keep it. So once I decided to do those stairs that we just finished working on that side, we're gonna do the same thing on this side. And I really like how it came out. I like the feel, I like the design of the stairs, and then with the brick going into the stairs, I think that's a nice touch. At least for me, it looks right, it feels good. And slowly the entrance of the front of the museum started taking shape, and I was like, all right, we're making progress. So we're still filling this up. We're gonna be adding the stairs, and that's gonna lead to this left side that you see. I already got some of the squares laid out, but slowly, where I have planted those previous pine trees on the side of the museum in the previous video, I think I'm gonna design a multi-level kind of greenery coming down on the side of the museum, and maybe going around with two walkways leading to the riverbank that's on the back. So I haven't decided how that layout is gonna be working, but it's what's coming in my mind. So that's kind of like letting you know what's coming ahead also, but it's not just there yet. So we added 2 more cement fences to the top, so kind of like rails, like if you were standing in the corner, you just don't fall on the stairs. So right there, we are just checking to see how the view looks, checking the view from down here, and you see that bridge just doesn't look good. So we just gotta take it out. It really ruins the vibe of that. And then no stairs, and I know it's kind of quick, but then it looks really good. And when you're really far away, you feel the museum. I feel the museum impacting me, and I think I'm sold now. I think I'm 100% like, yes, this is what I definitely want. It just feels grand and it feels great. This is a nugget that we found as we were digging, so I'm just putting it on the side because I'm planning to use those at some point. Right here is where, you know, I fill it up with grass and greenery, but since I keep looking at more museum pictures and reference, idea has come in my head to maybe make something greenery but on the side, but with a little more multi-level. So it may stay flat, it may go in a different tier system, and that will come down the pipeline. That my idea, you know, the ideas are there, and by the time you get to there, it may change completely. But just giving you a heads up, because that idea may sound good to you and you want to go ahead and try it out ahead of time, even before I get there. So right here we're working on, I'm adding the brick flower boxes to make like a little in front of the museum. We're gonna add some greenery and kind of closes that out. But I think I already made a little bit of change, and instead of being 2 deep, I'm just keeping it 1 deep and then a little raw cement. And I'll explain that in the next video with a little slower walkthrough. I added this little fence here, didn't like it right now, so I ended up taking it out. But I still feel like something has to be down there, so I haven't decided exactly what I really want to do. So we're just gonna keep thinking about it. Right here, we're just filling up the rest, so it's not just a block of dirt. And that back looks really good when you're looking for the riverbank and you see that. It looks like there's a big, massive building. Of course, all that brick, I already changed it. And like I said, if you like the brick edging the museum, keep it. But I already changed it back to cement. I think it just makes it more kind of like what I see in every real life picture of museum. Is everything's kind of blending the same. It's some type of cement or white or marble. It'd be great if James actually adds marble. You imagine if we get marble or some type of white pathing color, or that we can just tinted or something like that, oh man, that'd be great. But right now, cement is what we have. Cement is what looks good right now, and I'm happy. So yeah, so we're slowly getting closer to the end of this video. I'm doing some test greenery to see how it looks from far away, seeing the fountains as it's climbing up. And right here is when that idea, and you see me already, when I slow down like that, I'm counting the steps and how everything will align. Here we are adding some bushes only on this side because I wanted to see how it was going to look, the greenery. And this was before I started having the new idea of doing a little maybe multi-level greenery side, and that's still tentative, of course, until I give it a try to see if we stick it. So here is where I wanted to work lower the tier to kind of that first step. We're gonna cut it out and lower it, so you go up the stairs 1, 2, and then it's gonna be flat. But this is the time that my eyes now were starting to get close. Like I was kind of getting tired, and I kind of want to keep going, but I couldn't push myself any longer. And there's John. He's checking the area because it's getting closer to his place, and he knows that once I get down there, he's gonna be moving because we want to make a really nice area. So here I'm again marking where I'm gonna be working, because I gotta dig all this dirt out, and where the steps are gonna go into the brick path in there. So I already took the path that way. I didn't forget where do I want to start off the next video, and this is most likely that's where I'm gonna start the next videos, is working on that entrance. So right where John came up, we're gonna work on that entrance there, and then we're gonna do one on the left side, and yeah, and that's where we at on the museum build. Part 3 became an expansion of the museum. Maybe that's why I should put the title, expanding the museum. But it's museum part 3. It wasn't exactly what I was planning on doing, but for me, I started liking it. This was a last minute idea. I started thinking, oh, what if I put another fountain on the bottom? But the more I looked at it, I just decided to take it off. I think 3 is more my taste, but if you liked it and you like what you saw, then go ahead and do it. Alright, we made it to the end of this video. I want to say thank you so much for watching. Hit a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and we'll see you next time on part 4 of the museum build. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.